We're ready.
Woo!
So in my class, I got this message from one of the guys in my class, and he was like, so, because he just started listening to the podcast, and he's like, so, because all you guys talk about is sex, do you just think about sex 24/7?
That's right.
Was he in his
Shortest
20s?
podcast in history. Yes,
Yeah,
that's all we think
he's
about.
like 24. I felt like going, don't you always think about
Well, that's why
sex?
he's asking. He wants to know that you're thinking about it too, so he can, that goes in the bank.
But like that's kind of been the reaction of everyone in the class that has listened to it. Is like, whoa,
Wow.
that's you guys really dig in there, hey?
Yeah,
That's
well,
funny.
I guess wow, that's so funny. I didn't think we were as raunchy as, but people seem to remember the sex stuff. We talk about other things too.
Oh, look at the numbers. The sex episodes
Yeah,
always
like today
get
we've
huge
got
numbers.
tweezers up the urethra, so
What?
we got other things other than
Jenna.
sex.
What?
Are you serious? That is disgusting.
But I
don't even
thought, I figured
man.
because that seems to be the main theme, sex, that this would be the
It's
perfect...
only when people care about.
Right. This would be the perfect way to kick off this episode.
But wait, by the way, I think that Miss Jones should start paying us because her episode is still getting it's our top listened episode. She's got over 1,000 listens at this point because all she did was talk about, I don't even know what she
I don't
talked
know.
about, being a sex surrogate.
Maybe we need to have her back. Well, and we are going to be getting our guests back in 5 weeks.
I can put the props back out if you
Right.
want.
No, we should do a follow up with Miss because she is our highest listened
and
episode.
she's been taking on a lot of different projects
That's
too.
right.
So, and I have a whole list of guests that I want to come on.
Yeah.
Guests like CBD in the bedroom. What role does it play? Weed and sex.
Oh.
And just all these kind of different guests. So
Fascinating.
And if you have,
that was CBD, not CBT.
yes, CBD oil.
Totally different thing. 'Kay.
Right.
Yep.
And if you do know of anyone who you think
Well,
would
I
make
wanna
a
know CBT.
really interesting
Cock and ball
guest.
torture, Jesse.
Oh.
If you know anyone that would be a really great guest, just let us know. Jesse and Jenna's messypodcast@gmail.com.
For instance, somebody into cock and ball torture.
And foot fetishes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and the list grows.
Right. Exactly.
We should just rebrand as a sex podcast then.
Really?
I'm not above that.
You know what?
Then
You-
we
you
should
know what I've
definitely
always wanted?
change our name from Messy.
That's if you're doing it right.
I have always wanted to get a dominatrix on the show.
Well, I would love that. I mean, you kind of have one right here. Her name's Jenna Mo,
Yeah.
but
Why, thank you.
Yes, mistress.
Right.
all right.
Okay, so there's this guy. He's an author, and he's writing this book on the science of sex.
Okay.
So throughout his whole research, he decided to make a list of 8 things, really interesting things he learned about sex. Okay. So
Just
now-
Only 8. Yeah, I was like, why couldn't he
well,
push
there
it to
was
10?
there was 9, and one was really boring, so I took it.
Oh,
out.
you edited the list. I
Yeah,
understand.
but there was originally 9 things, and then
Okay.
one was really boring, so I was like, whatever, I'm not going to waste my breath on this one.
Okay.
It was something like, I don't even know. That's how boring it was. I can't
Okay.
even remember.
Okay.
Okay, so the first one is absolutely no fun. Because when you think you're having sex, you're burning lots of calories, right?
Yeah.
No, you're not at all.
Oh.
You burn more calories mowing the lawn than actually having sex.
Really?
Yes, a study found that you have to go at it for nearly 200 minutes to burn as much as you would on a 30-minute run.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I guess so. But then why do they say it's so good for you? You sweat. if
Well,
you're doing
and it
it right.
releases endorphins and stuff like that.
It gets your blood flowing.
Yeah. According to the British Heart Foundation, sex burns about the same amount of energy per minute as ironing clothes.
Oh. Well, that's
Right?
disappointing.
I know. It's super disappointing because I always am like, oh, I can skip the if I'm having, I can skip the gym today. But it also maybe you're not doing it right.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of different types of sex and speeds and frequencies and
Right. You can have lazy morning
Yeah.
sex.
Yeah.
Morning sex is lazy, but you can have real go at her.
unless it's hangover morning sex. Woo! I get so horny when I'm hungover. I don't know why. And I Googled it, and I'm not alone. It's called the hangover hornies. And apparently it's your brain's way of because you feel like shit, your brain's trying to make you feel better with the endorphins.
Right.
So it thinks, oh, if I have sex, I'll feel better.
It
But-
works.
Well, yeah.
Getting a good bone in when you're hungover works.
But the problem is you look like shit and you feel like shit and you're all puffy. So you have
Who
to find
cares?
someone else who's hungover.
At least you're in it together. The other thing he found was a surprising amount of mothers
Oh, no.
claim to be virgins.
Okay, wait, what?
Yes.
Mothers.
That doesn't make any sense.
Right? Of course, in America it does. In 2013,
Okay.
a study revealed that several thousand pregnant women in the U.S., so about 1% of these 1,000, claimed that they were virgins when they gave birth.
That doesn't make any sense. Who do you think you are? The Virgin Mary?
Mary?
Yeah.
Probably. Or they're just embarrassed to admit that they had sex.
Now, wait a minute. Could you be artificially inseminated? And
Haven't you heard of a little show called Jane the Virgin? That's what happened to her.
Okay, but then do you have to break a hymen to get to like the uterus? Yes, you would still have to break the hymen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So then you're not a virgin.
And I'm sure, like, from what I've heard about women that were pregnant and all the tests and stuff that they go through, like, something's ripping, even if you were a virgin.
Ooh, yeah. Just ask your best friend Alexa.
Right? Yeah. I know.
Congratulations, Alexa. She just had a beautiful baby girl.
Abigail. Little Abigail Ryan.
Nice.
Yeah. Number 3 is penicillin, not birth control, ignited the sexual revolution. Everyone thought it was birth control because then people started having sex because they're like, oh, I can't get pregnant.
But penicillin
It was
got rid of
actually penicillin.
because it cured all the STDs.
A study in 2013 shows that penicillin contributed to a 75% decline in the number of deaths caused by syphilis from 1947 to
I
57.
didn't know you could die from syphilis.
Oh, yeah.
Why? Because it just spreads.
I think it affects your brain.
Oh.
Since the new treatment made sex safer, people started having riskier sex, which resulted in an increased number of children born out of wedlock and teenage pregnancies.
Teenage pregnancy is still a thing. But I was going to say, being born out of wedlock's not even a deal anymore.
No.
Remember even
I'm a
when we were
bastard.
kids?
Oh, I remember because
Yeah.
my parents aren't married. I remember when I was really young, like grade 2 and 3,
Yeah.
kids calling me a bastard.
Yeah.
It's
it was
why
a
I was
huge
put
thing.
up for adoption.
Right?
Because you were a bastard child?
Yeah.
My dad just doesn't believe in marriage. He goes, why am I going to pay like tens of thousands
Yeah,
of
I
dollars for
agree with
people to
him.
party on my bill?
That's right. Look, it worked for Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn. They've
Yeah.
been together like 50 years.
And they have beautiful kids.
And they've never been married.
No, never mind. She's
Well,
not.
Kate Hudson's beautiful.
Yeah, but that's not her dad.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Twins can have different dads.
What?
Yes. Apparently, it's very rare, but it is possible for fraternal twins to have 2 different fathers because it's 2 separate eggs at once, right?
So well, that would have to be a busy Samantha Jones.
Because identical twins share one egg, share one embryo, but fraternal twins are 2 different embryos.
So what you're saying is, while
So
she's ovulating, a woman has sex with 2 different men, and they both knock her up.
It is a possibility that one spermie from one guy can fertilize that one egg, and then if she has sex the next day or whatever,
yeah.
yeah.
Or the same crazy party.
Hell yeah.
But then would it be twins? Wouldn't you just be half siblings at that point? Cause you have
No,
the
because
same
you're
mom?
born at the same time. You're
That's what-
carried, right?
that's
You'd be
what-
twins, but your DNA wouldn't be the same, would it?
No.
So what's
But
the definition of twins?
Fraternal twins do not have identical DNA, unlike identical twins.
Okay.
Identical twins, if you were to extract DNA from both of them, you wouldn't be able to tell which one's which.
Right. They're like
Because they
mirrored
did
images.
share the same embryo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Right.
that's cool. So
Yeah.
I guess there's one reason not to be too promiscuous, ladies. Don't want to get knocked up twice. Once would be bad enough.
Gender may influence how people handle sexual jealousy. So stick with me here because
okay.
I had to read this sentence about a few times to kind of get what they were going at. So research from evolutionary psychologists indicate that people's gender influences how they react to sexual jealousy. So for men, they react more strongly to sexual unfaithfulness than emotional infidelity.
Okay, slow it down. You're already losing me. Say that one again.
So men react more strongly to sexual unfaithfulness than emotional infidelity.
Okay.
For women, it's the reverse. And we've always talked
yes.
about this, right?
Yeah.
The theory behind these behaviors comes back to evolution. Males who are intolerant towards their wives becoming sexually active with other men were less likely to become an object of derision and more likely to see their own genes pass on to future generations.
It's a lot of big words here, eh, Jesse?
I know.
We're both going cross-eyed.
So
Love it.
basically, I think what it's trying to say is that
The student is educating us.
yeah,
right.
but basically, I think what they're trying to say is men whose wives cheated on him were. Oh shit.
No, I know what you're saying.
They
So-
didn't like it because they got more jealous of that because they were less likely to spread their seed onto that woman. Does that make sense?
because she's already had sex.
Yeah, because men react more to a sexual unfaithfulness, and it's because in their evolutionary mind, they're
yes.
not their seed.
Yes, some other guy got there first
Yeah.
and pissed on the fire hydrant before me.
Right.
But what
The
you
male
said
need
about
to conquer.
Yeah.
That's right.
Okay.
But I disagree with the women part because all my girls that I know, they're just as jealous about a sexual cheating.
Well, it says women who prevented their husbands from emotionally bonding with other women reduced the chances of men spending their resources on other women. That's why.
So it's choosing the lesser of two evils. So if you had to have your boyfriend cheat on you, I'm talking to you because you're a girl.
I'd probably want it sexually than emotionally.
You'd rather him fuck some other girl than go and like buy her presents and take her to
have
dinner.
an emotional affair with her.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. I agree with that.
I've always said that, a lot of men, like if they found out you were like having like a Facebook conversation with an ex and nothing happened, they'd probably be like, okay, just stop. But whereas if I found out my boyfriend was talking to his ex on Facebook for months, that's emotional affair. And I feel like that's betraying me so much more.
Yeah. I'm trying to think what it is for gay men. Gay men, I think it's the emotional because we're all, most of us.
You just like to dip it in all the ink?
Yeah. But, yeah.
One of Pavlov's colleagues created his own slightly X-rated condition experiment with dogs. So, Pavlov's salivating dogs, blah, blah, blah.
And gay men are a lot like dogs. We sniff each other's butt. That's how we get to know each other.
So one of his American students, whose name Horsley Gant,
What kind of a name is that?
right, conditioned dogs to become sexually aroused when they heard specific tones. The experiment was intended to study conflicts of the drives between experimentally induced anxiety states and sexual excitement.
Can you dumb that down?
I don't think I can.
So in other words, I don't know what you just said.
I think it's to study the conflicts that create anxiety or the conflicts that create sexual excitement.
Okay.
Because those two feelings were probably getting mixed up, I think.
What is this is a slightly sidebar, but what is your opinion about the ex thing? Because you brought this ex thing up, and I have a recent ex who I was with for a very long time. But as I start to navigate single life and dating again, is it like, do most people expect that you don't have a past? Like if you started, oh my God, I'm dying. We're getting too real here. I'm choking. If you started dating a guy that you were into and he talked about his ex, or you just knew that he had an ex that was still occasionally in his life, would that be a problem for you?
Yeah.
But at this age, you can't
Yeah, but you don't have to talk about them all the time.
not talk about them, but like if you for instance, shared custody of dogs.
Okay,
something.
well, when there's dogs and children involved, it's different. You're not doing it for yourself. You're doing it for the dogs.
But would you trust that he doesn't have any hanky-panky going on with the ex? Because that's what I'm afraid of. I'm talking about myself. I'm trying to veil it as it's Jenna, but it's me, okay? And so I share
you need to be a little bit more upfront with your dumb it down for me, Jesse.
Yeah. But so, for instance, I keep saying for instance. I don't know why that's the word of the day. For instance, I share custody with my ex-boyfriend. And so, but we really have a totally platonic relationship now. It's just business. And so that's fine. But I worry that if I'm talking to a new guy, he'll be like, is it really? Like he won't trust that it really is over. It's like just PG.
Well, because I think it's a lot to do with behavior. Like as soon as you get together with a new guy, you're not going to talk to your ex as much
Well,
naturally.
that's true.
Or you shouldn't be because you're more into someone else and that person becomes just that bridge between you and the dogs.
Yeah. And that's all it is.
You know what I mean? But if you're still like thinking about them and stuff, then obviously your brain's telling you that you're not over them.
Yeah, no.
It's another complication, but I think it's one of those, time will tell. Like, do I need to be jealous of this or no? And it wouldn't take someone very long to be with you to realize that.
If it's a concern or not.
Yeah,
You're right. Yeah.
That it really is just about the dogs.
And you're right. If it was a red flag for someone right off the hop and they wouldn't even give it a chance, then that's probably not someone you'd want to be with anyway.
I can't see you being with someone like that for sure.
I can't see me with anyone.
I mean, anybody who's going to be with you cannot be a jealous person.
And has to always
Right.
carry a mirror around in their pocket at all times.
Yeah, and then there's that.
And have no desire to be in the spotlight.
Right. He also found that couples whose first child is a girl are more likely to get divorced. Scientists are split why this is happening, but one theory is that female embryos are better able to endure maternal stress than male embryos. So pregnant women in unhappy marriages are less likely to have a miscarriage if the child is a girl that they're bearing as a girl because they can handle more stress, the female embryos.
Wow.
But once they have the daughter, these couples are more likely to split up because there was already stress in their relationship prior to the child's birth. So basically, it's survival of the fittest.
And the girl and the mom team up on Team Girl, and then it's like a whole.
That's not true, trust me.
There's a theory about.
Like you and your mom aren't close.
We're close, but we don't ever team up on my dad.
No?
No, God, no. My
Dawn.
mom and I fight like sisters.
Yeah. Dawn
Too
runs
similar.
that household.
I run that household.
Okay. Said the only child.
Damn straight.
Yeah, exactly. But, there's a
believe you,
theory
too.
that, science still doesn't know what causes people to be gay. And there's a theory that if you have a girl first, and then your second child is a boy, that might contribute to it because there's leftover estrogen in your system. And I have an older sister.
You have like a lot of sisters.
Yeah.
Well, no, two.
But I was the second one, so I'm
Yeah.
like, it could work for me. But I know gay guys that don't have sisters. But anyway.
So why would it not work in the reverse then? That if you have the boy first, that this
The girl would be a
second,
lesbian.
that she'd become a lesbian. Yeah.
Or maybe she is. I don't know. It's just a theory.
I'm an only child, so
Something
I
you
don't
said
know
made
what
me
you
think
guys
of
are talking about. And the last thing he found is there is a link between pubic hair and STIs.
What?
Yes, the downside of pubic grooming is that it might raise STI risk. In a study, people who regularly shaved their pubic areas contracted STIs about 80% more often than those who never shaved down there.
No shit.
One suggestion is that those who regularly shave are more likely to tear their skin, making it easier for viruses to enter the body.
Well, that's interesting.
I also have a different theory. I think that people that shave are just getting it in more often, and that's why they have to stay groomed. Hence, they're exposing themselves to more sexual partners.
Yeah, because does pubic hair really protect you that much?
well, that's what it's there for.
But if you're
Just like your eyelashes are there to protect your eyes, your eyebrows are.
From sweat and stuff.
Hair is there for a reason on your body.
yeah, but no reason you can't trim it a little bit.
Well, I mean, trim, yeah. Please do.
Please do.
And like, I mean, look at me. If I could be completely hairless, like a Sphinx cat, like I would at all times. But
Yeah. Wow, that's surprising.
yeah. So there you go.
All right.
There you
oh
go.
my God, was that still on your first story?
Yeah,
It's gonna be
sorry.
a long one, folks.
I kind of subscribe to Jenna's theory on that.
Yeah,
I think that
so.
If I'm
think
grooming, it's because I
you're
got a
getting
reason
it.
to. Yeah.
Yeah. You
You're
know?
grooming because you're grooving.
Hey.
It's like for people who never have dry spells. They always
Yeah.
get waxes regularly.
Right. I've never had a wax. Oh, that's not true. Yeah.
Have you waxed?
I've waxed. I waxed my butt crack once. I had my ex-boyfriend do it.
Oh
the
my
butt
God.
crack is the least painful part to wax.
Well,
Really?
I'm not waxing my
Yeah.
balls. Oh my God.
because it's not sensitive skin. Your anus can take a beating. Just ask Jesse.
All right,
there's
Jesse,
a reason I'm sitting on a donut cushion.
Touche. Cheers to your Saturday night.
Oh yeah. All right. So speaking of sex, because that's what our show's about now.
Apparently.
I mean, well, you know what? I like Marge Simpson as much as the next guy, but not in a sexual way. Homer either. But a sex psychologist named Dr.
Wait a minute. What do you mean by that?
Okay, Barney. Can you do a Barney? Would you have the psychologist's name from your study?
No, I never write down
Oh.
names of people.
Well, this one's named Dr. Justin Lamer. I wonder if it's the same
Oh,
guy.
I thought you were going to say Justin Labia.
But Lamer is a funny. It's like L-E-H. Anyway, I was making it like lay, like later.
Oh, okay.
Lamer. Anyway, but his name is Justin Lamer, and he recently
That
surveyed-
was lame.
Yeah, thanks. 4,000 Americans about their sexual fantasies for his new book called "Tell Me What You Want." I want to read
Tell me
it.
what you want.
He's
from
not paying
me.
for this plug.
Take a look at what you see. Let me know what this right here is. Something you can. You don't know that song?
No, I'm just waiting until you're done because I don't want to encourage you and have people turn this episode off.
Oh, well. Hey, you know what? We used to sing on air sometimes.
And we got told to stop.
Yeah.
And now, well,
Why does every program director like?
Well,
They said their theory is if you're not good at it, don't do it. And
I
so,
don't know.
you know.
well, it's funny because I recently heard them doing it and they're still not good. Anyways, that's what I'm saying. Let's keep going.
Just have fun.
Yeah.
Do you?
So it turns out 1 in 4 people have had a sexual fantasy about a cartoon character.
Okay.
More than half of us has fantasized about a fictional character from a book or movie. Well, yeah, for sure, if they're real people. 1 in 3 have fantasized about a mythical creature like a vampire.
Oh my gosh. Did you ever watch True Blood?
Twilight.
No.
Oh, True Blood, yeah.
True Blood was way sexier. Way sexier.
1 in 6 have fantasized about getting it on with an extraterrestrial. Oh, speaking of our former program
That's a
director.
big thing. ETs.
Yeah. I have a whole theory about that. I think humans came from aliens mating with monkeys, and that created humans. Not a bad theory. And that would explain why we are different than every other creature on the world. I brought this up backstage at the play, and they laughed me out of the room. But I really think I'm onto something with that.
I don't know.
Aliens and monkeys. So here we go. This psychologist's theory is that we start fantasizing about fictional characters when we get bored with our personal sex lives and need some like excitement, but you don't want to go in the real world for it because you may be married or, so
Really?
you
Because
look to
I think my
fictional.
first sexual fantasy of a fictional character was when I was young.
Me too. I think it was Aladdin for me.
For me, it was Eric
I changed my answer.
from Little Mermaid, just because he was so charming too.
Yeah, and
like he
nice.
was nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Aladdin was nice too.
And
Aladdin
he
was just so
wasn't
boyish.
too jacked up like Gaston or something.
Oh, I like Gaston. Now as a grown up, I like Gaston the best. Oh, fuck, Gaston's so hot. But you know what? Aladdin was hot too, but he was homeless. He'd stink.
I'm listening to two adults talk about how hot
I know, but this feels wrong.
a
Disney
cartoon
characters.
character is.
I had lots of crushes on like characters that weren't cartoons.
Well, that's part of it. Fictional characters.
Yeah.
But 1 in 4 people. I've never like masturbated to thinking about a cartoon. I will. But although there's anime porn on.
It's called hentai.
Yeah.
It's huge.
Huge.
And they'll be like porn with with women with like 5 penises and that.
Oh yeah.
It's very weird. Like there's actually tentacle porn is quite
Okay.
big too.
One step at a time. You just got me eating tentacles with calamari. So let's wait. Let's wait a second. But I hate that we shouldn't drink when we do this because I always forget what I'm going to say. God damn it.
It's not the drinking.
Oh, I remember. I'm going to totally date myself. But do you remember Napster?
Yeah.
Oh my God,
So
yes.
there used to be like a viral thing that went around Napster of Donald Duck having an orgasm.
Yes,
Do you
I remember it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, I can't do Donald. I'm so glad you remember that.
I do remember. Oh my god.
And it was like so big.
Pause here. Let me find that clip and put it right
Seriously.
here.
Wasn't that so
Yes,
funny?
Yes. Yeah. And to think that we waited like 5 hours just to download that clip.
Yeah, right?
Oh my God, you had to commit.
pick up the phone.
Yeah.
I'm downloading Donald Duck having an orgasm.
The only cool thing was that at least when you downloaded porn back then, you had the actual video in like your file. So I used to have like this file of like my favorite porn.
What did you label it? Because you couldn't have labeled it porn.
Well, it was more when I was at college, so it was my own
Oh,
computer.
okay.
Yeah.
But you still labeled it porn?
No, I can't remember. No, I had it. It was under the folder called ebooks. Ebooks.
Wow.
I bet you I still have it. I'm gonna check.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I'm trying to think of any other characters I had the big time
Let's
on.
just fire up
Well,
Windows 95 so you can
yeah,
watch
right.
that again.
I will
Excuse me,
say
it was XP.
Eric from True Blood, definitely
Oh,
fantasized
yeah.
about him. He was fucking hot.
Yeah.
And his character was hot.
But see, the actor's hot too, so it's not.
Yeah,
I feel
Alex
like.
Skarsgård.
Yeah, it.
FYI, you can also find... No, that's a different Skarsgård.
Pennywise?
Yeah.
Oh, that's not him?
No,
Oh.
I think that's his brother, actually.
Well, how many scarred
but
guards can you
I think it's quite popular Swedish name.
be? Look at me.
But anyways, if you do look up, if you're a big Alex Skarsgård fan, you can look up one of his old Swedish movies where you see his penis.
Oh.
You see him naked in
Like
the
Kevin
shower.
Bacon and Wild Things. If you pause at the right time, but who wants to see that now?
We all want to see
Speaking
penises.
of those movies, remember Now and Then with Devon Sawa?
Oh, yeah.
And there was always that rumor when we were younger that if you paused it at the right time,
Yes.
he answered that on Twitter, hey?
Is that what you were talking to him about?
No, we were talking about something. We were talking about
Yeah,
something
Jenna's been
else.
chatting with Devon Sawa, and I keep saying, ask him to do the podcast, but she doesn't want to scare him off.
Right. No, we were arguing.
on.
We were
I know.
arguing about sushi.
He doesn't like it? It was about Vancouver
Yeah,
sushi.
yeah.
Oh, yes. I've seen you on that. Okay.
But no, he did tweet about it, and he says a lot of people ask me this question. He goes, look, and I can't remember what studio filmed it, if it was Disney or what. He goes, or MGM. But he was like, it was MGM, and we were all like 12. No, you cannot see my penis in this movie. But I swear, we paused it at the right time and saw your little willy.
But on Twitter, was he saying, it was just your wishful thinking.
Right.
But was he saying that Vancouver doesn't have good sushi?
No, he was going through like cities in Canada because he is Canadian. He's from
Yeah.
Burnaby, which is a suburb literally on the other side and just east of Vancouver. Very close. And he was talking about the different provinces or cities in Canada and what they're known for food-wise. And he said Vancouver fish and chips. And I was like, what are you talking about? I was like, more like sushi.
Pacific salmon.
Yeah, sushi
Yeah.
and something else. And he was like, whoa. I was like, I've never had fish and chips like at home. It's not something I go out to eat.
Fish and chips, Newfoundland.
Yeah, and then we got in
yeah.
kind of a funny argument because I was like, well, I'm from North Van. And then he called me like a granola munching hippie. And, you know, he was from Burnaby. And anyways,
And then they hooked up.
I wish. No,
yeah.
he's married with kids.
And
Yeah, right.
Right.
You saw Boys in the Band. That's an issue we address in the play. But, you know, I saw on Twitter today, speaking of Vancouver, is our good friend PJ's in Vancouver for the first time.
Yes.
Great podcast he has called Dips and PJ. Check it out. And he was saying that Vancouver's like the best place on earth. And I was like, oh my God, Jenna is going to like flick her bean to this. And sure enough, there she is in the comments.
Best Coast is the
Yeah.
West.
West Coast is the best coast. I got to visit Vancouver. You got to take me home with you sometime because I've
will.
never been to BC.
I will. I promise.
So are we wrapping up the? Who would you have sex with a cartoon?
cartoon, my instant thought is Jessica Rabbit.
I'd have sex with Jessica
Me
Rabbit.
too. She's hot. I thought you were gonna say Selma, Patty and Selma tag team.
Are those the two sisters on
Yes.
Simpsons? No. Maybe Wilma Flintstone?
Oh, yeah, she's sexy. I see your type. The sex appeal's got to be through the roof. Wilma's very sexy.
Yep.
I wouldn't sleep with either Fred or Barney.
And I
though.
just-
Barney maybe more.
Maybe Barney.
I just found out this past week, by the way, on my show, that apparently I have a type because twice now on my show I have identified specific porn stars, and 3 people pounced on, you like the raunchy redhead.
Yeah, and
then
my
I come
wife
up-
is a
and then-
redhead.
Your
And then I
wife
come
is a
up with
raunchy
Wilma-
redhead.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, Sue.
That's
Yeah.
interesting. And yet my like the sexiest woman on the planet as far as I'm concerned, next to my wife, of course, Dita Von Teese, who's not a redhead
She's not a
at
redhead.
all.
No.
No.
No one knows what
I was
natural
gonna
color
say,
her
that's
hair is.
exactly what I was going to say.
I think her natural color is blonde, actually.
Archer. Woo!
Who?
Oh yes,
I'd sleep with
Archer.
him.
It's a great cartoon.
He's hot.
Yeah.
I'm sure if we thought more about it, we'd think
Johnny Bravo?
Yeah, well, maybe. He's probably got a really small dick. You know what I mean? Because he's like huge jack guys. That's the worst if you find a really
But he's a
jack
cartoon.
guy.
You can always make it bigger.
That's true. Touche.
Or it's just flat like Ken.
Non-binary.
Right?
Speaking of, yeah.
If this conversation's got you all hot and bothered, maybe you got a half chub.
That was like, you actually sounded like one of those late night commercials there. Hey, boys.
Well,
why
if
don't
you
you call
are,
1-900?
I'm about to ruin it.
We
And
need-
no.
not in the sexy way you
No.
want me to.
Is this the one you teased at the beginning? Oh!
Oh, no, really?
Man, yeah. Cross your legs, boys.
Yeah, I'm squeezing it.
Man had tweezers lodged in his urethra for 4 years.
Why? Why? I'm like, I feel.
I don't know why, but women get so much joy out of men.
That's wrong if
And
it's
dick
4
pain.
seconds.
Yes, and like part of me feels so bad for this guy, but the other hand, I'm like, he fucking deserves it. What are you doing with tweezers in that area?
And I'm gonna post
Tweezing.
this. I will
Grooming.
On your
post-
urethra?
Well,
Yeah,
No.
we are gonna post this story so you can actually visually see it on
we
our
don't need
Facebook.
to.
Because these aren't like, so I have like traveling tweezers as well that are, you know, about 2-3 inches long
tweezers
and
that get
quite
around?
small. Yeah, they do. And these ones are like jumbo. Like I don't own a pair of tweezers this big. Okay.
Are we talking tweezers or like needle nose pliers?
Plier.
here?
tweezers?
How big is your urethra?
So this is a new report in a medical journal. He's a 22-year-old man from Saudi Arabia. They were 7.6 centimeters long. It was stuck in his urethra for 4 years.
Why? How?
How do you go on living like that? You'd think it would be painful, right? Like
You
it would bother
think.
you. But the guy told the doctors that he has had absolutely no issues peeing. And like his pee was normal. He never got fevers, never got chills. There was another person in India who had a pen cap stuck up his urethra. And the reason they
Flick my
discovered
dick.
it was because he kept getting urinary tract infections. But this guy had absolutely no signs or symptoms, hence why he lived with it for 4 years.
I'm about to quit this podcast.
Right? So according to the doctors,
Now
who
we're gonna replace your podcast with an American syndicated one. You
Oh,
right?
see me after.
According
Too
to
soon,
the
John.
doctors who did the surgery, the tweezers were a bit tricky because doctors had to keep the forceps closed. So you know how like they're
So which way are they in? Are they
so
in?
they're in with the 2 claws facing down. So he put the other end in first. So the reason they had to go in and clamp down on those forceps is because to take it out, if they didn't, it would have ripped his whole urethra out.
I'm surprised it didn't on the way in.
Do you want to know how they did it?
I feel faint. I really do.
They managed to keep the tweezers shut, by squeezing down on his penis in something that they called external pressure technique. So think about
I
a dick
know.
laying flat on the
Yeah,
table,
yeah.
okay?
Okay, now I'm getting
the
better.
tweezers are in there. You squeeze like you're pushing down on the someone's pushing down on the penis, which closes those tweezers, and then someone reaches in and pulls them out.
Reaches in. I don't know what kind of dicks are out there. Well, I know.
Well,
a
they'd be
few.
reaching in with like a medical tool, I would
I would assume something like that.
My
yeah.
urethra or my dick hole is so small that I would not even think of putting anything in there. And I know there's a whole fetish community about this. Sounding, is that what
Yep.
it's called? And sometimes those videos pop up when you're looking for porn, and it's like, oh, why? I don't want to see that. But I would never.
No.
Yeah. I just could never think of putting something up there.
Well, that's the thing. So the report didn't say why or how he got it in there initially, but the doctors did note in the report that usually this thing. Men shove stuff up their urethra is because it's due to psychological reasons, being hammered, sexually curious, or just confused.
These are all sort of the same thing. If you're
That's
hammered,
what I said, or all the above.
Yeah.
I've been pretty fucking hammered in my day. I've never
I'm
been that
always
hammered.
confused, and I wouldn't shove something into a hole that's a lot bigger than the hole.
Yeah. And fellas, if you want to shove something, we have a hole. Just go to the, around
Right.
south a little bit and it works fine.
It works a hell of a lot better than your. Just think, that hole only has stuff coming out, and I'm pretty sure it should stay that way.
Yeah, like, especially, I don't know if this guy's straight or what, but you hear straight guys all the time about, like, putting things in their ass or like, no, that's exit only. Some girls say that too. But if your ass is exit only, then your urethra should definitely be exit only.
I think straight men are always like exit only and stuff because they like want to be macho.
Yeah.
But really, I hear, isn't it a big thing for boys to like to shove things up their butts?
Okay, so one of the guys in the play who, I shouldn't say which one. But I was
No.
gonna say, there's 3 cast members who were straight, as we discussed, and he was telling me that he is dating a new girl, and he likes that. He likes stuff up the bum, and
Well, that's where
and
the prostate is.
Yeah, but
Fair
she's
is- I've always
she's
said
fine
fair
with
is
it.
fair. Any guy that wants anal with a girl
That's fine.
should want it for themselves too.
And it doesn't mean you're gay.
Nope.
No, it just means
Means you like butt stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's where your pleasure point is.
And I hate that there's this stigma though that straight men, if they like something up the ass, it means they secretly want a dick up there. No,
No,
you know.
they just want to shove their little army
Something.
boy up there. or
It's like
something.
lesbians. They use strap-ons. Doesn't mean they want the real thing.
right?
Yeah, no, they don't.
John's
So there
tried.
you go. I hope I ruined your boners.
That was really hard to get through. For the first half of that, I was really feeling queasy.
Makes you want to drink a little?
Yeah, it does.
Maybe binge drink?
And according to a new study, there's an evolutionary reason why women, specifically women, are attracted to men who binge drink.
Bullshit.
I knew you were going to say that, and
There's
so did this
nothing
study.
attractive about a male binge drinker.
Well, come on. You never been turned on by a guy slamming down 17 beers and then falling into a pool?
No.
Sexy.
No.
According to a new study.
All I can smell
Hold me
when
back.
No, seriously, whenever you talk about a binge drinking dude, all I can smell is what guys smell like when they wake up the next morning hungover.
Oh, especially if it's beer. And then forget the farts. Oh, I've been big into IPA beers lately because who isn't? But they're really hoppy and they make your fart smell so bad the next morning. Like Sulphur City. Even my dog, Lopez, looked at me like, what the hell?
Dude.
I'm getting out of this bed.
Under the covers.
Yeah. It was bad. So apparently this binge drinking, and this is not an endorsement to binge drink. Oh, what the fuck? Yeah, of course you're going to binge drink. If you
This whole
listen to us.
podcast
Yeah.
is an endorsement.
We're doing it
for
right
binge
now.
Drinking.
So anyway, it's
Especially
supposedly-
when it's talking about urethras and
You're going to need a drink. Yeah. So apparently binge drinking sends a subconscious sexual signal to women. The idea is that by showing you can handle your liquor in large quantities, it sends the signal that you're healthy and strong. Okay. So even though women don't think this is true, like Jenna, who said this was bullshit.
I think it's so gross.
They said deep down, your subconscious evolutionary biology is making your brain notice that it's impressive that somebody can withstand that much.
So it's like tough, like he can take a lot.
Because it's not good for you. So it's showing that like, oh, he's strong and healthy because he can handle 17
But
beers.
like at the same time, guys that have drank 17 beers are of no use to a lot of females.
Well, no, not to mention, yeah.
Or of no use to anyone.
Right?
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Like it can't get it up.
Whiskey dip.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was surprised to read this, but the Daily
I'm
Mail
sorry,
says it's true.
ladies. I think every lady would agree with me. Binge drinking's not attractive. Even if it's like a Like, it sounds like it's like an evolutionary thing,
Well, that's what it says, yeah.
right?
But then when it writes that evolutionary triggers your biology, I'm like, but drinking wasn't. Well, I guess drinking's been around for a long time.
Oh, alcohol's been around since Jesus.
Yeah, he had wine.
He made
turned-
water into
right.
wine. You know, just don't go out and
Testify.
binge drink and shove some tweezers up your urethra.
Don't do it.
No. Binge drinking leads to bad decisions, like shoving
Maybe start with a
tweezers.
piercing.
Oh my gosh, I had a friend that did that.
I wanted one.
Oh my
I
gosh.
wanted a Prince Albert in the worst way.
Yeah.
And then somebody explained to me that like it puts yet another hole in there, and so the whole pee-pee thing becomes like
So he
it
was
sprays everywhere. I'm like, I already get in trouble enough.
Yeah, you get rogue sprays as it is. Not you, but men in general.
Yeah.
no,
never seen you
he
pee.
got really hammered in the day once and was walking down the street. And this was on Granville Street, has a lot of tattoo parlors and clubs
Yeah.
and stuff. And he was hammered in this.
Ottawa, it's like Vanier.
Right. No.
Ish.
No.
Rideau Street.
There's like actual things to do on Granville Street.
Oh, all
It's
right.
it's a party street. Straight up party street.
Hey, Vanny's got some karaoke bars that I
And
wouldn't
strip
step
clubs.
into with a 10-foot pole.
And
but
strip clubs.
They're there.
But yeah, and he was walking down the street, and this woman was just joking, this like really cute young girl, and was like, "Hey, if you get your dick pierced, I'll pay for it." And he was so drunk, he was like, "Sure,"
Jesus
and
fucking
went and did it.
Christ.
Yeah.
Oh my god! I hooked up with a guy that had a Prince Albert years and years ago, and I was like, yeah, it was very weird. I didn't like it. Nothing about the
Does
feeling.
it
I just
add,
didn't like.
pleasure?
I don't know if that's the idea. I mean, it must be. Isn't that what they say about tongue rings, which is also bullshit?
Well, I know a girl that got her clit pierced, and every time she sat down, she got a mini orgasm.
oh yeah, you told me about her.
Janet Jackson used to say that about her pierced nipple. She was on Oprah, I think, and she said, like every time I move, like my bra rubs against it, and it, like it.
Do you want to be aroused like that all the time?
Yeah.
But with the
No,
Prince, but you know what?
there's many situations you should not be aroused in. Going to visit grandma in the hospital, you sit down and get a mini orgasm? Like, no.
No. But the Prince Albert, particularly because if you're jerking it or sucking it, there's a lot of
God.
movement. What if
I'd
you
be
pull
terrified.
Or what if you're like have a dress shirt on because you just couldn't wait when you got home and it caught on the button?
it? Right? Ah! Because I used to have my
You
tongue
thought
pierced.
urethra tweezers were
Or
bad.
just getting caught in a thread in your undies or something.
Let me tell you something. I used to have my tongue pierced, and there was times you would catch it on,
You
and
got
it
your
would
tongue
pull.
pierced,
I
you
did.
dirty
Look,
slut.
you can still see the scar,
Ew.
and that's another thing. If you decide to take the Prince Albert out, are you always going to have scars like you do when you get your eyebrow pierced?
Prince Albert, by the way, if I'm not mistaken, I believe I read this. It's named after an actual prince, and the piercing was put in there in order to attach it to a button to keep it off to the side.
Really?
I'm quite certain that I'd read that, and that's how a Prince Albert came to be known as a Prince Albert,
Why? Because he had a hamaconda. He had to keep it to one side.
I guess.
Jenna, stop texting. You're not a good multitasker.
She's just lost interest in.
Well, I don't know what you guys like. I don't know anything about Prince Albert's.
You've never seen one in person?
No.
Yeah, so I didn't like it on this guy because I was afraid I was going to hurt him. And then I was like, he's not putting that inside of me.
Yeah.
So luckily.
Could you imagine, like, if it came undone?
Yeah.
I'll never forget the
Oh
first.
my God, yeah.
The first time I ever saw a woman with a tongue ring. Yeah, it was at RJ's Boom Boom Saloon, and she came to the DJ booth, and she's like, "Look, I got my tongue pierced." And I went, "Why?" She's like, "Imagine how that would feel." Like
no,
a blow.
it's
and
not
I'm like,
true.
And I'm like, who complained?
About a blowjob in the first
It's not
place.
true.
Some guy's going, "Yeah, this is good, but gee,
It would be
if
so much
there was
better if
just-
you had a ball
you
attached
know-
to your
No,
tongue.
it doesn't work. Both, yeah.
I don't get
it's
it.
not true. It doesn't help. I don't think.
And if
Maybe
you
I
had
was
one,
doing
more
it wrong.
power to you. I don't understand.
No, it's just a signal to show that you're a big hoe, like Jenna said. Seriously.
Well, now I really want a Prince Albert.
I was 16. Oh, my mom was so mad. Could you imagine? But I had it for a couple years, and you know why I took it out? Because it started to damage my teeth.
Yep.
And
Wait,
I don't
you-
mess around with my teeth.
You had a tongue
Yeah,
piercing?
I did.
Yeah.
See the scar?
It's,
No, but
yeah, that's why I never got a tongue piercing either. I wanted to, but I've never been a big piercings person.
My eyes aren't good
Tattoos
enough.
all day, every day. Piercings, especially on a man, are a big turn off.
yeah,
for
I
me.
agree with you. Ears are okay if you need to, but even then.
I don't know why for me, and this is just my opinion. So if you're a man with piercings, I'm not talking shit about
Fuck you. We're allowed to have
right?
opinions.
But to me, it's a feminine thing.
Yeah.
I see it as making him kind of effeminate.
Like there's certain guys that look hot with earrings. Like I'm picturing like a guy, I think
Like
Italian
ears
guy.
are fine, but I'm talking even nose, eyebrow,
I don't-
nipples. Like,
Do you know what? Maybe we're just turning into old grumpy ladies, but I can't stand the bull ring piercing. And I seen some hot guys. One of them came to the play, and he had such a beautiful man, but he had that bull ring, and I was like, no, it's
the
a deal
good thing
breaker.
about the bull ring though is all they have to do is turn it up and it's gone.
What do you
right?
mean turn it up?
So like, because usually it's a bull ring, right? So it's a U.
Yeah.
Oh.
So if they go to work or something, they usually can just turn it up into their nose so you don't see it.
I've always been curious. How do you sneeze with one of those in your like? Because I
find them so
pinch
ugly.
my nose when I sneeze. I would be in agony.
Yeah.
I don't like nipple rings either on men. On a girl, okay, maybe. Like Christina Aguilera has them. But you look like, what are you, a cow? Like,
Right.
yeah, I mean,
With the bull ring and nipples.
yeah.
Are you also branded on your ass?
Well, that's cool.
See, and
I'll brand that ass.
several years ago, that was my goal: is I was going to get my nipples pierced if I lost enough weight to make it look good.
Ugh.
But what have you got, the barbell or the ring?
Barbell.
I would have gone ring.
Yeah, because it was the 90s probably.
Yeah.
So the rings were more cool then.
Like when
your acid
when
wash
guys
jeans.
that used to get their ears pierced in the right side were gay.
Yeah, oh my God, what bullshit.
I know, isn't that too funny?
Now I've heard that my brother,
That
who's
was my
21,
whole high school life.
Right.
seriously, now Jake says, that's my brother, that it's about tattoos. So if you have a tattoo, like a sleeve on one arm or the other is the gay thing.
Oh my gosh, no! It's just people have a
Seriously?
preference. They have a side, like Jesse does.
Yeah.
In every picture.
Yeah, right. I'm on it now. And so I'm like, no, Jake, that's not the thing. You tell if you're gay if you're on Grindr. That's like, we don't need these things. You don't.
That's a pretty good sign.
You know-
You don't need
you-
a handkerchief in your left pocket that's red and it means you're ready to go.
No, that's
and-
a gang. That's gangs. That's
Okay,
gangs. That's
see.
bloods.
Well,
NFL referee.
back in the
isn't it?
60s, they did it with the gay thing too.
Oh,
it was
gosh.
colored handkerchiefs.
So silly. Stop dissecting people.
Yeah, just live your
Let them live
fucking
their
life.
life. As I say that, I don't like piercings. A new study reveals that getting a sugar daddy is about more than just sex and money. And we've talked about getting sugar daddies a lot.
Yeah, I'm in the market for one.
The study interviewed a bunch of sugar babies in the US and discovered that there's actually different relationships and dynamics within the culture. So it's not just about give me stuff and we have sex, or I have
Right.
sex, you give me stuff. So this woman kind of dissected it all and was like, okay, there's these different subgroups of sugar daddies in different level. So first she found that 40% of sugar babies don't actually have sex with their benefactors.
I've heard this.
Wow.
Yeah. And that the ones that actually did have sex with their sugar daddies had genuine feelings for them.
I just watched a movie on Lifetime. You would have loved it. I should have texted you, called Sugar Babies.
Yeah.
And it's about this. And the main relationship in the movie is about a girl with this older man, and everyone in her life is judging her, but they're not having sex. And it almost is like an uncle relationship where they love each other, and he just wants to help this young girl get on
So
her
that
feet.
is a specific type of relationship.
Okay.
And we're going to get to that one at the bottom because, of course, it was the most boring one. So
Yeah,
I'll let
yeah,
it
yeah,
at
yeah.
the end.
Okay.
There's something called sugar prostitution, which is straight up sex for gifts. So if someone is straight up just having sex for gifts, you're a sugar prostitute.
Okay.
Okay. There's a thing called compensated dating.
Pause on sugar prostitutes. Remember those from Jenny Jones? He bought my car and you don't know me. Yeah, those were the sugar prostitutes.
There is compensated dating, and this is very popular, especially in Asia. It involves getting a gift in exchange for just like a date. And that can be anything from coffee or attending an event together. But unlike prostitution, no sex is involved at all. These are those guys that are just like, hey, I'm rich and old and want to like make a young pretty girl look good and feel good.
There's nothing wrong with that.
No.
I'd take it.
There's also sugar dating, and this is the most common form of sugaring. And we're not talking about hair removal here.
It's sugaring now.
Or,
Okay.
or baking.
And this one is more of a companionship and sex. So because it's a companionship, women get monthly allowances,
But then what's the difference then between just having a rich boyfriend?
right?
Couldn't you just, but I guess because
But
he's way
when
older
you're,
than
or
you.
when you're fully laying the intent out ahead of time.
Okay.
Right.
That's the difference.
And also, yeah, that was it. Was that it? That was
You
the
know,
lame story.
And I've heard, okay, so I'm sorry I'm talking about the play so much, but it's been my life for the past 2 months. So there's a guy.
You were in a play?
I was. It was called The Boys of the Band.
Oh,
it
I
was at
didn't
the
know.
Gladstone from October 9th to 9th.
My friend went and saw
Oh,
it.
I think I saw that.
So one of the guys that was involved with the play is older, and he actually knows some men that are sugar daddies or involved with it, and he gets very defensive and says that it's a real legit thing, and usually it's that they want to help they have extra money and they want to help a young person that's struggling get on their feet or realize a goal or something like that, and it's not usually about sex because these days you can always find someone willing to have sex with you. You don't need to pay
Right.
for their college tuition to get laid. If you want to pay for their college tuition, it's because you want to.
Right.
So I said, you have any single ones?
Jesse and Jenna's messy podcast at gmail.com. Jesse and Jenna's messypodcast@gmail.com. You can also find us and reach us at messypodcast.com.
Yeah. Are you trying to wrap us up, or you just
No,
okay.
I was done with my story. That's why.
I feel like we've been going a long time, but we're gonna keep going because you want more. You know you do. A topless lady yelled at her neighbor with her breasts hanging over the fence.
Oh, like this is news?
Sounds like a regular day at John's house.
This is
Hey,
what I was
John.
doing last night when I got home drunk. But I was yelling at myself with my windows open and my breasts out.
Were your breasts? Why were you doing that?
Because every time I come home really drunk, the first thing I do is take all of my clothes off.
But why were you yelling at the window?
I was probably yelling at myself.
Oh. I just find the boobs hanging out is the funniest part of this story. I'm like 15. But I wish we had a video of this. But anyway, this woman was
because
37.
you're picturing old lady,
Well,
long,
yeah.
flat boobs. That's why you think it's funny. You're not thinking of nice, like, young titties being like, ooh.
No, I'm picturing like big
You're not
pendulous
You're not
breasts.
thinking Panama City.
No.
You are thinking, like, Biloxi, Mississippi.
See, and you're right. All I'm thinking of is my neighbor lady.
Has she ever come out with her boobs hanging? Probably.
Do your boobs hang low?
Hey,
Do they wobble to
John.
and fro?
Do I put this on the record or not?
Oh no! Or did you peep in her window one day and you saw them hanging out?
No. Well,
Have you ever seen your neighbors naked?
yes.
John. I haven't.
I haven't either, and I'm kind of
So-
disappointed in it.
So her backyard is on our side yard. Okay? Mm-hmm. And we like to sit out on our deck. Warm summer nights, whatever else, and we'll be there with lights off, and she will walk around flashing her husband in the house.
No.
Oh, yes.
Like she'll lift
Oh,
up her
that's
shirt.
cute though. They're
It's-
still
it's-
having fun.
It's very cute. Good for them.
But isn't
then-
she older? Isn't she like 60?
She's
Which
like
is-
she's
which-
like my age.
which
Oh,
makes
so
it
yes.
cute because they're keeping
No,
the
you're not
spark
60.
alive.
But then there's the days where she comes walking into the backyard in her Crocs, her granny panties,
Yeah.
and no top, and she's weeding the garden.
Hey man, we all weed in our granny panties.
But it's legal now, right? Ontario.
It is.
You can. Free the nipple.
It is, but they got the law wrong, Jesse.
What? Yeah, okay. Should be
no.
only
Only
women under
certain-
30.
yeah.
No. It should be men who look like me should be made to cover up, and that evens things out. Oh, it's. I mean, they're nice people. They're nice people, but oh my god,
That's funny.
Have you ever seen your neighbors having sex or heard them?
heard them. Yes.
No.
I haven't.
That's weird.
I'm
That's
just. Oh wait, I lie. There used to be the building behind me before it got renovated, and it was.
Sorry.
Yeah, and there used to be some like dirty old couches out there, and I caught some college students having sex on them.
Oh, that's fun. I know the
Ew,
alley
I
you're
was-
talking
yeah,
about.
I was like, ew, you're gonna get.
oh my god, look,
scabies.
she's coming out right now.
Oh,
she's
you
coming
scared
out.
me. I thought she was gonna have her
Is
tits
she?
out.
The neighbor's coming out of her, but she's got a shirt on.
Damn it!
Well,
Speaking of
first
pendulous
time for everything.
breasts.
Right.
Speaking
but
of
I mean,
pendulous breasts.
she's just. Hey, John.
So at the condo I lived at with my former partner, there was like the buildings were right near each other, so you could see in each other's balconies. And there was a couple that lived a couple stories above us in the other building that they would regularly get it on, but they had one of those like thinly veiled blinds where they didn't realize when the lights were on in the room, you could see every
so it was
silhouette.
silhouette?
Outline.
And we
That's
saw
hot.
it was hot. We watched it a few times.
What time we were at a friend's house?
was a man and a woman.
and we were. This was in Vancouver, so there's a lot of sky rises around, and we
Mm.
were just. She's right on the water, so we're looking with binoculars out in the water, and we went around, and this guy was full on jerking off in his apartment, like no shame, towel on chest.
Oh, he was ready for the
Oh,
cleanup.
he walked in from work and like went to business.
Saw the potential audience across the street and went,
Yeah.
hell yeah.
Yeah.
See, if I had, and I thought I was, the Red Blacks have been so bad this year. This is what I find myself thinking about
That
at
you
games
jack
now.
off during games?
Well, no, but there's this beautiful there's this beautiful condo in the West End zone. I'm thinking,
Yeah.
if I had a condo there with the windows, I would have someone pressed up against that glass. I'd be going to town every single game.
yeah.
Yeah, and then you'd get like charged with indecent.
Well, I don't know if you
exposure.
Why?
could.
I'm in my house.
Could you? Yeah, I don't know that you could. That building, first of all, imagine the rent. But
Oh, I mean,
Free
Jeff
advertising.
Hunt's place is for sale now for like 2.5 million or something.
It's not even that nice. Sorry.
I know.
I saw the inside of it. It's not that nice.
Oh, did you?
No, it was in the news. Those days are far behind me. I'm too old now.
Oh, I haven't even done the story yet. We've been talking about boobs. Okay, so a 37-year-old woman
I could
named
talk about them forever.
Okay, her name was Leanne Thomas. She was from Wales. Oh, cheerio.
So these are whale boobs?
Yes. She got home smashed drunk a couple months ago, and I guess she was stumbling around her apartment, and her neighbor could see inside of her house. So she caught her neighbor watching her stumble around drunk, and that pissed her off. So Leanne went outside to yell at her neighbor to tell her to stop looking at her in the window. She leaned over the fence, and for some reason, like John's neighbor, she was topless. So the prosecutor says, yeah, because there's charges coming up. The prosecutor said, quote, her breasts were exposed and hanging, drooping over the fence. And that's when the neighbor's dog spotted her and was, quote, jumping up and biting and licking at her breasts. But so Leanne yelled a few racial slurs, not cool. And so she was charged with racially aggravated harassment, which, side note, I think is so cool that is a charge these days,
Right.
that you can get in trouble for screaming racial epithets.
You know, when I was reading that urethra story and you guys all clenched your
Yeah,
dicks,
look at your
I'm
nips.
clenching my boobs.
Okay, but the part that I thought was so funny
The
is
fart?
the part, sorry. You're yelling at your neighbor, stop looking at my windows, your boobs are hanging over the fence. And then the dog's nibbling at your boobs and you stay hanging over the fence.
I just picture like a Jack Russell Terrier just jumping up and down.
What do you think they were? Pepperonis?
Maybe she liked it.
Maybe she had big areolas.
A lot of girls like a little nibble on the
Yeah, maybe.
nipples.
And how droopy do they have to be? I don't know how big this fence was, but they had to be pretty droopy and pendulous for a dog to.
Well, looking at John's neighbor right now, if she was topless, I bet you her boobs would hang over that fence like that.
Do your boobs
Hang
hang
low,
low?
do they wobble to and fro? Can you tie them in a knot? Can you throw them over your shoulder?
I have always wanted the best for you guys. I want everybody to subscribe to your podcast. Now I am fearful that she does.
Oh, please. Anyway, so Leanne here was
comes my-
charged
here comes-
$500.
Here comes my other neighbor. We call him bird shit
Why?
because he's bird shit.
Boobies and bird shit.
How long have you been recording?
He just yells. I will sit here at we're at my dining room table. I will sit here, and he will sit at his table, and he'll just be hunched over, falling asleep, snoring, and you can hear him snoring.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's a fascinating little neighborhood, but he has yet to put his boobs over the fence.
I know a few
Maybe
men that
you
could
should-
put their boobs over a fence.
Yeah, maybe you should start that trend, John.
Hey, if I had feelings, that would hurt.
You don't have boobs. Let me take a tweet.
Oh, okay.
How long have you wanted to do that, Jesse Reynolds?
I think it's time to wrap this podcast up because there's some nipple
We're
tweaking
getting
going
silly.
on.
I'm
Thank
gonna
you for
grab some
listening.
Tweezers right
Right?
now.
Yeah.
Please subscribe. Please tell your friends.
Yeah.
It was actually really cool because this course I'm working through, I've been using our podcast for a lot of the projects. And the one thing that I've discovered about our podcast that makes it really cool, especially compared to other ones, is that you can literally pick and choose which episodes you want to listen to.
Yeah.
You don't have to listen to every single one in order to get what's going on.
Yeah.
Although it's highly recommended.
Yeah.
I have a funny story about that because I'm working on a government contract right now, yeah, I know that's why I don't talk about it that much. But there's a trainer that works there, and she's recently discovered our podcast, and she's started at the beginning.
Oh,
and I said, you don't
wow.
have to start at the beginning. She goes, no, I'm OCD like that, and I binge podcasts, so I'm going to start at the beginning.
Awesome.
And she's already caught up. But her feedback was it was amazing to listen to how we changed from.
Oh, so
She goes, in the
much.
beginning it was exactly like your radio show, and now you guys are filthy.
Yeah.
And she goes, I love it.
And it didn't take long. A woman at my work said it too. You guys are filthy, but it's awesome.
But that's one of the things we learned, right? Very early
Yeah.
on is that podcast and radio, while there's a lot of similarities,
different.
there's a lot of differences.
They're so
too.
different.
So.
Yeah, yeah.
You get real upfront.
Oh, well, we're not
honesty
that
with
filthy.
us.
I come from the world of John Waters and Divine, and she eats dog shit in movies. We're not that filthy. We
Ew.
just talk about sex, baby.
And tweezers and urethras.
Stop, John!
Everyday stuff.
And boobies hanging over the fence. Getting nibbled on by a Jack Russell Terrier. Cheers.
Cheers.